Thematic investing has quite a number of benefits for investors. There's the long-term benefits, the general benefits of just being a better description of today's world. You have a lot of developments that are not really captured by the traditional sector or country classifications, and here the themes are providing a better lens on the market that help us to identify these opportunities. It has a greater degree of freedom as well. We are not bound by benchmarks or any such guidelines, and if you have a greater degree of freedom, that should be the basis for good performance as well. And then finally, probably the most important point, themes are very tangible and very intuitive. So even the non-experts at investing can meet these developments in their daily life and can take an active investment decision. I want to be part of this. And then finally, with a shorter time frame, if you have a market like this where there's no shortage of news flow, we are all looking for something as an orientation. And again, this is where the themes can be helpful. Long-term structural change. Let's take a step back from the daily noise on the market and focus on what is really important in the long run. This is what the themes can help us with. Technology is an enabler for many developments. So we see an influence of technology in many themes. They really make developments possible. So it's also something that has a bit of a cross-functional relevance. So again, this is something that you can meet in your daily lives if you just think about public transport, for example, how modern technology can help to make this more efficient, more punctual, more convenient in the end. Or if you, for example, think about things like digital payments. I mean, the modern technology has basically rid us of cash. We don't need cash anymore. We're just conveniently paying by the card. So this is really something that enables a lot of these developments. But then again, also not all of the themes that we are looking at, that we are investing in, are linked to modern technology. We can also find themes that are a good diversifier for a well-rounded portfolio that have very different backgrounds as well. We are currently focusing on 7 themes in our portfolio. One theme is the next generation energy theme, which is in the end the energy transition, the decarbonization of the economy. This is something that has widespread government and also societal support, so that brings us as investors in a very comfortable position when we're looking at those enablers, those companies that provide the right services and also technology to achieve the energy transition. We then have a theme that is called infrastructure. This is really about the renewal of infrastructure on a global basis. The current status of infrastructure in the US, in Europe, in many other countries has become quite poor. This is something that you can push out for some time, but at a certain stage you will need to act because this is a bottleneck factor for the future development. So the Biden plan early last year was for us basically the signal to have a closer look at this and put it into the portfolio. We then have a theme that is called Digital Life, actually one of our oldest and longest standing themes. There's just a lot of digitalization going on in every parts of our daily life, in every parts of the business life. What we're currently looking at, for example, is the financial sector. So digital payments is something that we find interesting, but also because if you have a wave of digitalization, you will also need a wave of cybersecurity, for example, so that is another area that we are looking at. We then have the theme Clean Water and Land, which obviously focuses on water technology, on water efficiency, on the availability of clean water, again on a global basis. This is a major problem and we have still not really addressed this problem properly. I mean, just think about the latest news flow coming out of Europe with a very dry summer in many of the European countries. I think we just need to become more efficient with our water usage in order to counteract such situations. We also have a theme that is called Health Tech. This is really about the transformation of the healthcare sector. We did have a technological revolution for example, in the consumer sector, think online shopping, in industrials, Industry 4.0, in financials, I have briefly addressed this already, but what has been a bit of a laggard is really the healthcare sector. But at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity to digitalize, for example. We're sitting on a lot of data, patient data, which we can use to improve treatments and really make healthcare better. We then have a theme that is called intelligent machines. The very simple assumption here is that a wave of inflation, like we're currently looking at, is going to trigger a wave of automation. A good part of this inflation is triggered by wage inflation because people are quitting these lower-end jobs, the less well-paid jobs, the more dirty jobs as well. And in order to keep those employees, companies are offering more money, but this is a short-term fix. The medium to longer-term fix is a higher degree of automation. And because nobody wants to do these jobs anyway, that is a bit of a win-win situation as well. And also think about those long, distant and fragile supply chains. That is also a cost factor, an inflation factor, and again, a higher degree of automation. Bring the fully automated factory closer to the end market. That is something that could help here as well. A wave of inflation will trigger a wave of automation. And then finally, last but not least, the pet economy theme. Again, something that is not completely new. That is really driven by demographics. We see a rising pet ownership on a global basis, but we also see a change in the spending pattern for pets. They are literally members of the family, so we're not being cheap on our pets. And companies that provide the right goods and services, pet food, for example, pet healthcare, but also pet insurance as a smaller part, that are areas of the market that are benefiting from this longer-term structural trend.
Allianz Global Investors.